I want to start by looking back at our history, and like with a lot of minority groups, that history can be pretty dark, especially here in Texas.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that there were once internment camps right here in Texas, even here in North Texas. The U.S. imprisoned Japanese people during World War II. I recently traveled to Seagoville, the site of one of those camps, and then I flew to San Jose to speak to the descendant of one of those prisoners who worries lessons from decades ago are being ignored today. In Seagoville, Texas, a federal prison today had a different purpose 80 years ago.
My great-grandmother was sent to Seagoville in Texas.
During World War II, Kinzo and Misao Ishibashi were some of the first Japanese Latin Americans taken from their home.
They actually were brought here forcibly by the U.S. government, and it wasn't by choice that they had come.
Kinzo was an entrepreneur.
This is their merchandise business in Callao.
And he founded a school in Callao, Peru.
So they targeted educators, religious leaders, businessmen, and community leaders.
Because of his success.
He was one of the first to be targeted.
After Pearl Harbor and under the Alien Enemies Act, the U.S., in partnership with some Latin American countries, deported and interned thousands of people of Japanese descent from countries like Peru. Kinzo and his wife were put on a U.S. military ship June of 1942. They were processed at Camp Algiers in New Orleans, then separated. Kinzo went to the Kennedy Alien Detention Camp, and his wife was sent to Seagoville.
And they considered them enemy aliens.
To the government, they were a national security threat. But to Becky Shibayama, they were great-grandparents.
So this is Kinzo and Misao, and she's holding my father.
From her childhood home in San Jose, California, she shares their hardships from internment camps in Texas because it continues to shape her family for generations.
My father, being the oldest son, spent his summers with his grandparents.
Becky's dad, Art Shibayama, was 12 when Kinzo and Misao were taken.
No, he was never able to see them again, which is really heartbreaking because he was so close to them.
In November 1942, Kinzo was transferred to Seagoville internment camp, reunited with his wife. Then less than a year later, September 1943.
They were used in a prisoner exchange. So they were sent back to war-torn Japan in exchange for American civilians who were trapped in the Far East war zones.
Pried from their home, separated, and imprisoned.
It says accompanied by wife, Misao, age 53.
Kinzo and Misao died in Japan, away from the life they built in Peru.
And they lost everything.
The same year they were used in a prisoner exchange, Becky's father, along with her aunts, uncles, grandmother, and grandfather, were also taken from Peru and forced on a ship for 21 days.
He said it was really bad. It was especially for the men who were kept below deck. They were only allowed to go above deck and get fresh air for 10 minutes, twice a day.
They were sent to an internment camp in Crystal City, Texas.
Breaks my heart to see how they used to live and how all of that was taken away.
After 3 generations of internees, Becky's parents remained in the United States and started from scratch.
My father went to night school.
Art became an auto mechanic, settling in a Japanese-American community of San Jose, where he opened a service station just a mile away from the home he raised Becky in.
It just shows their resilience, and yeah, I'm just proud of my father and his family because they had to go through so much.
As much as there's been progress over the last 8 decades,
immigrants are being scapegoated, just like they were in World War II.
Becky fears the Trump administration is pushing the centuries-old Alien Enemies Act that hasn't been used since the Shibayamas were interned.
I think it's so important, especially during the current times, that we preserve the history, that we know what happened so that we can prevent it from happening again.
It's why she shares their painful journey in hopes it won't repeat. In Seagoville, I'm Tiffany Liu.